Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel CyberXPopsy. In today's video, we're going to discover Advent of Cyber 2025, Day 23. The Day 23 will discover about the AWS Security Secret Santa. Let's tap into the room and we'll discuss what are the challenges given by TryHackMe to us. As you can see, we have officially entered into the room. In this room, we're gonna learn about the basics of AWS enumeration. And this lab is an easy lab which consumes around 30 minutes. Basically, enumeration is gathering a data, so that's the definition in short. So we'll go to the task one, which is the introduction. After going through the story, what I have understood is an elf found AWS credentials on Sir Garrett Bones desktop and needs you help using them to access TBFC cloud network. But however, the credentials work and belong to Sir Garrett Bone himself. The task is used to use AWS CLI, which is command line interface tools, to explore and enumerate what access these credentials provide. So that's the story, and these are the learning objectives. So we're gonna learn the basics of AWS account, and we'll enumerate the privileges granted to an account from attacker's perspective, and we will familiarize ourselves with AWS CLI. If you want, you can click on this. So it basically tells AWS command line interface. So for this lab, we're gonna use the target machine. So we're gonna start, and once the machine is booted up, and I will continue the part. As you can see, I have successfully deployed the VM machine, which is the target machine. Now we'll check out the following the instructions and we'll find out the answers for the questions. So initially it has asked to find out the credentials. So we're gonna go into the terminal and let's maximize it. And the path is this. So we'll copy this, Control C, and we use cat command to read the credentials, Control Shift V, and we'll hit enter. Yeah, there we go. We got our AWS access key ID followed by AWS secret access key. And so we can use Amazon Security Token Service, which allows to utilize the credentials for a user that we have saved during our AWS CLI configuration. Now we can use get caller identity command, which is, so we'll copy this command and will give me a moment. I will explain the command, what it exactly does. So we're gonna use over here Control Shift V, and here the first line is about the AWS CLI command, and the STS is basically the service name, and get caller identity is the command or operation we are about to execute. So we will perform and we'll find out the output. As we can see, the output has a user ID with an account number and followed by ARN, which is the resource name. So seeing the output, the elf was overjoyed because of the credentials, and the elf now can attempt to regain access of TBFC cloud using these credentials because the elf has found this carrot bone. And we'll move out to the question. So run the AWS STS get caller identity. We did. And what is the number shown for the account parameter? And the account parameter is this. So we're going to copy this value, Control C and Control V, and check. And we have it for the task one. Now we are heading towards task 2, which is IAM users, roles, groups and policies. First we need to understand what is IAM. So the IAM stands for Identity and Access Management, which is a framework and process for controlling and securing digital identities and users in organizations. And two, followed by which we also need to understand what is IAM users. IAM users is a unique identity for a user which has set of credentials such as passwords or access keys that can be accessed for resources. And furthermore, the permissions can be granted at a user level, defining the level of access a user might have. And when it comes to the IAM groups, where we can share to the multiple users and combine into a group, and this can be done for the eases of access management for multiple users at the same time. And if you give an example, they have demonstrated an example, we'll go through it. For example, in an organization employing hundreds of thousands of people, there might be a handful of people who need right access to a certain database. Instead of granting access to each other individually, the admin can grant access to a group and all users who require right access to that group. When a user no longer need the access, they can be removed from the group. That makes sense. And when it comes to the IAM role, an IAM role is a temporary identity that can be assumed by a user as well as by services or external accounts to get certain permissions. And they have given example how Carbon has been accessed, and you can go through it coming by joining this room. And we'll move forward to the IAM policies. The IAM policies where the access provided to any user group or role is controlled through IAM policies, and the policy is in the form of JSON document. As you can see, there has mentioned a version followed by the statement, an action, and a resource name. And we'll move to the question, what IAM component is described to permissions to be assigned to a user or a group? Just now we have read that is the IAM policies. So it should be the policy. So POLCY, and we'll check it. And that's it for the task 2. Now we are heading towards the task 3, which is the practical part where we're gonna enumerate a user's permission, which is gathering information of a user's permission. First, we're gonna use a new tab, which is in the terminal. Okay, we're gonna open a new tab and we're gonna use AWS IAM list users. This will list the users. Let's see what users exist. From the output, we can clearly see there is a caret button with the user ID and the resource name, and we're gonna use we will now enumerate the user policies with the help of this command, which is AWS. We'll copy this and Control Shift V, and let's see. And we should be able to get the policy name, so which is caret button policy. And now we can see we'll find out uh, what are the policies attached to this account. So there are two types of policies. One is the attached policy and the inline policy. What's the difference between this is the attached policy where you can share to a multiple users or a group at the same time. What the inline policy stands out from the attached policy is the inline policy is only assigned to a specific policy to a specific user or a group. So we're gonna use, first we'll find out are there any attached policies, user policies to the account. Copy and Control Shift V, and we'll try to execute. As you can see, there are no attached policies for Carbon. Now we'll find out same thing. Is he a part of any group? Let's see, Control C and Control Shift V, and let's see, is he a part of any group? Now he is not any part of group. If the result states, it will pop up here. And now we'll go to the inline policy, whether he's a part of any inline policy. Control Shift and Control Shift V, and here make sure we need to mention the policy name, which is we have initially founded, that is caret button. Control C, and we need to give the policy name. Here the policy name is just give me a minute. So the policy name is caret ban policy, and we'll hit enter. Let's see what the output comes. From the output, it is clearly seen that it looks like Carbon has access to enumerate all different kinds of users, roles, policies, and there's a lot of information over here where we can get TBFC access back. But first we need to understand what the action is performing. You can see clearly there is an STS where Carbon is still assuming the role, so I think it might be using in the task 4. So we'll stick to the task 3, what it has asked the question, which is what is the name of policy assigned to S3cret bond. So we'll find out the we already found. So this is the answer. Control C, and we'll paste this. Control V and check, and that's it. We have done the task 3. Now we'll move on towards the task 4, which is the assuming a roles. Earlier we found that there is a STS assume role. Whether we'll see whether S3cret bond assume any roles or not. So we will open a new tab. Okay, file, open a new tab, and we'll find out what are the roles are assumed. Let's see, AWS IAM list roles. As you can see there, we have found the S3cret bond has assumed a role, which is a bucket master. And yeah, now we will check whether there are any inline policies using this command. Control C, and we'll over here Control Shift V, and we'll let's see whether we'll find out any policies. Yeah, they have found one policy, which is a bucket master policy, and now we will see whether there are any attached role policies existed in this bucket master. So Control C, and here Control Shift V, and we'll try to execute, and we found that there are no attached policies. Similarly, now we will look into the inline policies, sorry, whether it is a part of any, like, the permissions, not, I mean, we I mean, like, looks like we have the inline policy assigned. That's we found early. Now let's see the permissions what we get from these policies. We'll find out the permission from these policies. Control over here, Control Shift V, and here enter. As we can see, there are 3 actions. One is list all my buckets, list bucket, and get object. So these are the 3 things we have found, and this might be just a breakthrough what we are looking. So let's see moving forward what they are talking about. And assuming the role to gain privilege access again by bucket master role, we need to assume it. We can use AWS STS to obtain the temporary credentials that enables us to assume this role. Okay, we're gonna use AWS followed by assume role, and we found this earlier, which is the one we made it. So this is the one there, right? Yes, exactly. And however, we will just copy and paste, and let's see the output. So we'll copy this, Control C, and Control Shift V, and enter. And we got some credentials with access key, secret key, session key. And now we need to show to able to use this, run the following command. Okay, we'll export, replacing the existing credentials that you received on the assume role command. Okay, so we are at this. So now we're gonna export all these commands. So first one is export AWS key, access key, now we got this value. And what we're gonna do is, once we have done that, we can officially use this permission granted by the bucket master. To check if you have currently assumed the role, you can once again run. So we're gonna use this, so we'll find out whether we got it or not. Control C, and here Control Shift V, and let's figure out. And this time you should see you're now using bucket master role. Yeah, that's what we got. Earlier we found initially this one to serve carbon. Now we are using the bucket master. And apart from get object and list bucket, what other action can be taken by assuming the bucket master role? So let's go again over here. What we found here is not this one, sorry. We'll go over here again. We found one is list all buckets. So they have mentioned list bucket, get object. So list all my buckets is the answer. So list all my buckets is the answer. So let's check it. Yeah, that's it for the task 4. Mic testing 1 2 3, mic testing 1 2 3. Now we are entering into the task 5, which is grabbing a file from S3. So we'll understood what exactly S3. So 3S mentionly states that simple storage service is a service provided by Amazon Web Services that allows you to store data in a scalable and a reliable way. Data is stored on buckets which act as a folder in a cloud where you can store files, applications, backup information or anything you need. That's all S3 what it simply states for simple storage service. And now we will see our newly gained access S3cret born S3 bucket provides us. So okay, Control Shift V and let's see. Okay, so now we got this. So we have got the name of for one Easter secrets 123 bunny website 64531 and the owner f web file. There is one interesting bucket in there that references Easter, so we found that one. Let's check out the content of the directory. So now we are going to use this directory, which is using this command Control C, and we're going to use Control Shift V, and we'll find out the contents. And we got the contents. One is cloud password.txt and other one is grocery.txt. And we'll copy the file this directory into the local machine. This might have a secret message, I guess. So we'll use this command Control C and Control Shift V. Let's see whether we got. Hooray! We have successfully infiltrated Sir Carbonate bucket and explorated some data. So did we able to get any extracted data? So what are the contents of password txt file? We will use a last command. We'll see whether we are able to find anything. As you can see, there is one cloud password txt. So we'll try to read the content using cloud cat command. So cloud password password.txt, enter. Voila, THM more like this is our flag. Control C and Control V and we'll check. Voila, congratulations on completing AWS Security Secret Santa. And that's all for this video. I'll wrapping it now and I'll see you in the next room. Until then, take care. Signing off, CyberX Popsy. Happy hacking.